so today's IPAN statement is I can identify the different parts of an expression. And algebra has different vocabulary to break down the different parts of the expression. Okay? Each little piece of the expression represents something different. Okay? Or has a different word, per se. So we start with the word equation. We talked about equation before. What does an equation have at the end of it? Equation, you have an equal. It's going to have an equal sign, telling you that two pieces are equal to one another, right? So it says a math sentence that states two quantities are equal. So what it's saying is that both sides are equal to one another. So if I have 5 plus 3 equals 8, that 5 and 3 being added together equals 8. That's what it means. Okay? So if we'll have an equal sign. So that's the second blank. They give us this equation 3x minus 4 equals 7. And what it says is the equal sign, the equation says when it's on the left side, the 3x minus 4 is equal to what's on the right side, which is 7. This is where we're going to get into the parts of an expression. And we're going to use the same problem, 3x minus 4 equals 7. So a variable. Who can remind me what a variable is? What does it do? What's it do, Casey? What is a variable? How do we know if it's a variable? Okay. In math, looking at this problem, which one's going to be the variable? The x. A variable is a letter that represents a number we do not know yet. It takes the place of a number. A variable is a letter or a symbol that we don't know.
And you have to try to figure out
and we try to figure out what the letter means, or the variable. So in this problem, which is the variable in this problem right here?
X.
The x. So I would write x right here so that I would know that that's the variable. Or I would label it. I'd come over here and make an arrow and label that this is the variable. Okay? Every variable has a value. It equals something. We don't know what that something is, but it equals something. Another new word is called coefficient. Can you say coefficient? Coefficient. Coefficient. Say coefficient. Coefficient. Okay. In a plane, who flies a plane? The pilot. Now, if you're flying like Delta Airlines or something like that, and you're going a long ways, there's not just one pilot. There's two pilots, so that people stay alert and safe and everything. Do you know what they're called? The two pilots are called? Co-pilots. They're called co-pilots. When me and Miss Lucas are teaching together, we're called co-teachers, because that means we're teaching together. This prefix right here, co, means together. So looking at this problem right here, what two things are together? Looking at this problem, which one's together? The 3 and the x are together. They're right next to each other, right? So the 3, the coefficient is the number multiplied by the variable. So So that 3 and the x are next to each other, right? The 3 is the coefficient. So what operation is taking place between the number and the letter? What's happening there? Multiplication. When a number and a letter are next to each other, that means they're being multiplied by each other. So they're attached by multiplication. So this is saying 3 times x. So 3 is our coefficient. Okay? It can be positive or negative. Our coefficient can be positive or negative. Now, we're not necessarily going to work out problems with negative numbers, but I just need you to know that it can be positive or negative. And one of the last terms that we have is a constant. A constant is a number with no variable attached. It's all by itself. So in this problem right here, which one would be the constant? The 4. The 4 is the constant because it doesn't have a variable attached to it. No. Okay, so the 4 is the constant. Okay? So if I had you identify the different parts, do you think you could do it? Using your notes and things? Alright, so if I had the problem 4x minus 2 equals 10, which one is the variable? The x is the variable. Which one's the coefficient?
4.
The 4. And which one's the constant?
2.
The 2.
Any letter?
Yeah, you can use any letter. I could do what would be the constant?
30.
The constant is the number all by itself. It would be 3. What's the variable?
C. C.
The c. And which one's the coefficient? 27. Okay.
Why do you actually say
It's just a weird. It's like a European. I don't know. Just do it. All right. Next we have what's called terms. So basically it's the chunks of the expression or the equation. Okay? That includes the operation signs. So it's either a single number, a constant, it's either just a variable, or it's the product of a number and a variable. So the coefficient and the variable. But it includes the operation sign. So we need to say includes operation sign.
So if you have a variable, you don't have to have a number next to it?
Mm-mm. Sometimes it can be just x plus 2 equals 10. You don't always have to have a number next to it. Or it can just be x equals 5. Okay? So here, let's look at variables first. So we've got this long problem right here. What are the variables in this problem?
K.
The K,
M, N, P.
M, N, P. So it's going to be the letters. The variables are the easiest thing to identify because it's the letters, right? What are the coefficients going to be?
7.
And that's it, right? There's no other numbers attached to a variable, is there? No, so that's all the coefficients. 15 and 3. So your terms are a little bit different. Your terms are the chunks. So it's 2k. Then it's going to be plus 15. Then it's going to be minus m. What's the next one going to be? Minus 3. What's the next one going to be? Plus n. Minus 7p. So these are all different terms. Okay? It's the chunks that include the operation signs. Okay? Does that make sense? Kind of? All right, let's look at the next one. What's the variables for the next one?
C.
It's just C, right? So we're only going to write C once because there's not more than one variable. It's just C. What are your coefficients?
4, 12.
4 and 12.
Approximately 8, 7, and 2.
8, 7, and 2. Your terms are going to be what?
Minus 8.
Minus 8.
Minus 4C.
Minus 4C.
Plus 7.
Plus 7.
Minus C.
Minus C.
Minus 12.
Minus 12C.
Minus 2.
Minus 2. Not as scary as you thought, right? Okay. On the next page, if you flip over your next page, okay, an expression is a group of terms. It contains numbers, operations, and variables. It does not have, what does an expression not have? Remember? And what? An equal sign. An expression does not have an equal sign. All right, so what I want you to practice doing is labeling the pieces of these these expressions. Okay? And then we'll check over them, hopefully. Okay?